we're back. Thank you for the support on the previous video. People are saying they liked it. I was quite surprised actually. I don't know if you enjoy people talking for an hour and a half, but I appreciate the support. Today we're talking about many different topics. Next week is well-being week, so we're probably gonna post this on a Sunday, but from Monday onwards as well-being week, mental health. So that topic got covered. We also talked about Batman as well. I'll probably put a spoiler warning there in the description. Like, we don't even spoil it that much. We just talk about the graphics and stuff. So if you don't want anything spoiled, they will skip past like 2 minutes from that. Yeah, thank you for watching. And again, links in the bio. Click the link, get something for your training, and tell us what topics you want us to talk about. Anyways, rambling over. This has been like a minute long. Let's get back into the podcast. Let's go.
Boom.
Alright, cool. We're in. How's
How we
everyone
doing,
doing,
boys?
man? How we doing? How we doing, man?
All good, all
Just
good.
come
all
back from
chilling.
a couple of days at universities.
Love
So
to see it. How was the
I
experience,
went.
man?
It was interesting. There were two because they were off for holidays, and they were two very very different experiences. So went. I was gonna say flew up to Manchester. We drove up to Manchester Thursday evening. Got to the hotel. Hotel was a bit nax, I'll be real. Like my dad spotted it from the very beginning. Like we were walking into the hotel, and I thought it would be nice because it was on a golf course. It was on them country clubs. Thought it was gonna be all nice. My dad's he had one look at the building. He was like, "No, this is nice." Obviously, my dad doesn't use that language. But, started in. I still thought it was calm. Then we got in the elevator. Oh Lord, we got in the elevator. Doors closed. It was doing. So we didn't step in the elevator again. But no, Manchester. I like the university. It's very integrated into the city. And it's a good city. It's a BTech London, but it's a good city. But the thing is with the offer day, it was a bit. It wasn't engaging, at least compared to the work one, which I'll talk about in a minute. But it's like I got there and it was like five people, and then there was like one guy who was like the head of the chemistry department, and he just basically just spoke at us for like 45 minutes, and then they had like two student ambassadors who just gave us a tour of different buildings, and it was all right. And I do like their buildings and their facilities and everything, but it wasn't very engaging. Work, on the other hand, it was on the other spectrum completely. The work, appearance wise, it's just very grey. It's just grey. Like all the buildings, they're just looking a bit dead. But on the interior, I can tell they've been doing some refurbishing. So that's the thing, because I think Warwick is a very new university. It's only like 50 years old. So I imagine they haven't had the time to knock down a whole building and rebuild it. So the buildings I'm seeing are probably 50 years old themselves. But the insides are really nice. I like the look of the work labs. And I can tell their teaching is really engaging. So yeah, we'll see which one I pick of those two.
That's blessed, because I think I'm probably
How
gonna
you doing,
do
Si?
Bro,
Yeah.
I've been
Sorry,
good, man. I've been good. I had a little.
I just wanted to say happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you,
man.
man.
How's
Thank you,
the
thank
birthday?
you.
How's the birthday?
Yesterday.
Bro, listen, it was good, man. I had a fun lunchtime. Can't disclose that, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I had a
What do you mean by that?
movie. Yeah, you gotta relax. It's not PG, not PG, not PG. I'm joking. I'm a Christian child, but no, what's it? After school had the Batman to get to, little movie booking, cheeky little Friday night film. But yeah, man, this traffic though, I'm telling you, it's getting a problem recently. I'm being so real. This trip to Bluewater was like 5 minutes for me, max, in a car. This traffic jam, I swear to God, sent from hell. So bad. Got, 7 minutes late into the movie, but I found a way to watch the start of the movie. So when we came in because we came in late to the movie, but we came in at the exact time that I'd finished my, preview sitting of the film. You know what I mean?
But
So
don't they
then,
have like half an hour of ads at the beginning? How do
no, we were late. We were that late.
Oh, you were like 45 minutes late, essentially.
The traffic jam was on. Oh my word, bro!
I was
It was
trying
a
to see.
standstill.
I was trying to see the movie. What's it called? Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike's not. Right, okay. I was trying to see the movie. Yeah, on Friday as well. And I was trying to get to Dartford, and I was literally on the bus. I nearly missed the movie as well. I was on the bus for
Yeah.
like 30 minutes, which should have been like a
Bad.
10-minute ride. I don't know why the traffic was so bad, but the movie though, it was quite good. It was quite good.
You want to talk about it? You want to talk about it? Spoiler free chat.
Femi, I'm guessing you haven't seen it.
I haven't. Was it Batman?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Batman one. Yeah.
I don't care. Spoil it, man. Spoil it.
You want to spoil it? All right, we're gonna have a little spoiler.
Spoiler
Wait,
alert.
pre
Yeah,
pre
spoiler
pre
alert.
spoiler.
So skip
We're taking
to skip to this
certain
time
time.
if
Yeah.
you haven't seen it and you're
I
gonna
have
see
to
it.
I have to edit this in.
Just
I'll
a
just say
little-
spoiler
little-
alert. If you watch past this point, then it's your fault.
Yeah. It's just
Um,
so okay. So right. So first things, I thought I'll definitely recommend this movie to anyone. You know, I'd say if you're going to go into the movie thinking it's going to be some flashy action fest, you're not gonna. It's not going to be. It's not like a. You know, it's not like a Marvel movie or anything. You're not gonna get. You know, that dopamine rush of very flimsy entertainment. You know, it's not going to be just explosions out of nowhere. Just that. It's a really well crafted mystery movie with elements of like gothic genres and yeah, it's just I don't know. I thought it was a really well crafted movie. I'm talking about to the acting, to the score. I had some problems with it, but we'll get to that later. But I thought it was a really well rounded movie. How'd you find it?
I can't lie, I'm not like a movie fanatic, but I just enjoyed the whole. I
Mm,
enjoyed the movie. Like I haven't really watched anything to do with like Batman and DC and stuff. Usually I'm like a Marvel guy, I watch the Marvel movies, but this was like an interesting like immersion into the DC universe, if you will. But I really enjoyed it. It was a good movie. But yeah, it was good, man.
yeah, man. I mean, yeah, it was just pretty sick, man. I thought like I'm talking about there was just certain scenes in the movie. There's one scene, I think it was a car sequence, like car chase.
Oh yeah. I know what
Oh,
you're talking about.
there was oh my day. So there's this one scene where basically his Batmobile like is a sports car with like this super powered engine.
Mhm.
It's like something out of a video. Like it's not. It's more realistic than what an actual Batmobile would be. But he's got the super engine. There's a scene that he goes off a ramp like through the flames, and he crashes the other guy's car he's chasing. And there's just this like 15-second sequence where he's like walking towards the bad guy with the music blaring, and I was like, oh
When he was like when he went under and to try and say something, that scene was sick because you can see the flames in the background and him just like
yeah,
walking in. I love that scene. But yeah,
beautiful movie. Mm. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't like I just recommend the movie to anyone. It's a really good movie. I thought very fun, very fun.
yeah.
Nice.
Anyways, it seems like you man enjoyed the previous episodes of this podcast, so we decided to come back for round two. Same people on. It won't be the same people all the time, but I feel like you guys enjoyed this selection of individuals, so we're gonna carry on with these people. Anyways, how are we gonna start this one today? I'm gonna try and make this more so it can flow more instead of like having set topics in the back. We have ideas of what we want to talk about previously, but if we don't speak about them, then so be it. But anyways, what you guys interested in? What's been on your mind this last week?
For me, you start, man.
I don't know, man. Lent started this week, so like I said last episode, like I'm not a very spiritual guy, but I just thought, you know what, let me give up something for 40 days, just so I'm more disciplined, because I've recently noticed that my discipline is slipping rapidly. So I've given up drinks other than water, and I've given up snoozing my alarm in the morning because it's a terrible, terrible habit. Oh my gosh, it's a very slippery slope. And also, I've noticed I say the word like a lot when I'm talking. So I'm gonna try my best to cut that down. But with the giving up anything other than water, I kind of failed on the first day because we had a prefect meeting, so you were there, and
Oh yeah.
they gave us like a buffet of food. You know, they had drinks and wine glasses and stuff. No wine, just drinks in wine glasses. And without realizing, I forgot it was Lent, and I poured myself some orange juice in a wine glass. I was sipping that orange juice real good. Then halfway through the meeting, I realized that I'd just been sipping orange juice, and I failed Lent. But I'm gonna continue anyway. Yeah, I've only been drinking water since. So don't let one lapse stop you from achieving your goals, mate. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I like that. Yeah, man. I think I might. I wouldn't say I'm not Christian myself, but I have been trying.
You just
up
say you're a
to-
good Christian boy.
Good point. Good point. Good point. Well, on and off, as you say. But two things I've been trying to give up is actually I've got one familiar with Femi. I keep saying like too much. I think I don't know. I've been
I mean,
trying
to be fair, I've had somebody comment and say that you're a very articulate person when
No, you are.
they've been listening to the podcast.
Yeah,
So,
I think
yeah.
it does give a sense of conviction when you stop saying the word like in sentences, and yeah, so that's one I've been commenting. Another one is I think we touched on it last week as well, but I've been trying to not use my phone before bed at all. So I've just been trying to read a few pages of the books on my bedside, and I don't know, I don't know if it's a placebo effect, but I just feel like I've been having a better sleep. I've been, I've still been having, 6 to 8 hours of sleep every day, but I just feel like my sleep is more full, more
I
rounded.
mean, whether it's placebo or not, like you've been getting better sleep, or at least you feel as though you do. So
Yeah,
it's beneficial.
yeah, exactly. And to be fair, even if it's just, I feel like I'll be reading at one page sometimes, and I'll just conk out by the end of it. But yeah, I don't know. That's just stop
I mean, I
using
think
my
that
phone
just
before
shows.
bed.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's just
when you fall asleep so quickly, that just shows really like how tired you are. Like back when I used to use TikTok, I heard a TikTok scientist say that if you fall asleep within 5 minutes of getting into bed, then you're sleep deprived or something. And I kind of use that as a rule of thumb. Like if I do get into bed and I fall asleep instantly, like I'm definitely sleep deprived. So I think it's a good thing to keep on your mind just to ensure that you are getting an adequate amount of sleep. And you're not forcing yourself to stay awake just to use your phone or whatever.
Yeah, with the topic of sleep, that's like an interesting one. I was like watching this thing the other day. That's like it's the average. It's like the average child, the average teenager gets. I think it's 1.5 to 2 hours less sleep now than they did 15 years ago, which is quite a lot. That's like 20% in some instances of sleep that people are missing out on, or even more. And I don't know, I've like this is one of my New Year resolution things, even though I kind of don't and do believe in them. But one of my New Year's resolutions was like to not prioritize sleep, but make sure that I am putting a lot more emphasis on sleep. Because I remember before I wasn't sleeping as late as some people I hear sleeping. I slept at like 1, 2, or sometimes 12, depending on how much work I got done. But then I remember it carried on for the rest of the week. So let's say I sleep late on Monday, Tuesday, I'm tired. I can't do any work in school. I'm tired after school. I can't go gym. My gym workouts aren't as good. And it just snowballs for the rest of the week. So like I realized that in my opinion that it's not worth it in the long run to try and complete that extra bit of work. It's better obviously to do it beforehand and obviously have those time management skills. But I feel like it's not worth it to give up sleep to complete something, because that sleep is gonna affect the next couple of days. So yeah, all that waffle aside, I'm trying to prioritize my sleep, sleeping at least 7 hours. I know I'm trying to get to 8 and even up to 9, but with the IP that we're doing, less
Yeah, IB
than
doesn't allow that, buddy.
Yeah.
it's not decent. Good sleep and the IB are mutually exclusive, my friend. It's very difficult, but I'm trying to improve at that.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good.
The thing is, well, I need to stop saying like as well. I literally was
Yeah.
editing the thing, and I had a count. I had like for one of the episodes, I said it 30 times, like 30 times. Actually, if I can be asked, I'll put a like counter in the bottom for any time someone says like. It's gonna take me a while, and again, if you don't see it, I can't be asked. But
that's a
We're
big
hitting triple
editing task,
digits.
boy.
It
We're hitting
depends. It
triple
depends. You just
digits.
don't have to say like then. And I've just said it. That's amazing.
You,
Okay,
I
cool.
did notice you were saying it a lot in your talking, and I was gonna say one of your New Year's resolutions should be refraining from saying the word like.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that's a topic as well though. Like many people don't really talk about how to like improve the way you speak.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Most people focus on some other things as well, but like how would you actually improve the way you speak? Because I think maybe you watch other people you want to speak like, or you consume content that mirrors with what you want to speak, like mirrors with the type of speech you want to have. But I don't know how else you would try and
It's
improve that.
practice. It's literally practice with anything. If you want to get better at anything, practice. And with speech, if you want to become more articulate, you should practice being more selective. You see, I'm doing it now. Being more selective with the words that you say. And the more frequently you do it, the more habitual it becomes.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
I
fair.
agree. I'd agree. I'd say another thing that I've been trying to implement notice recently is before I say anything, I just, even if it takes a second for me or like 2 seconds, I just pause and map out the sentence in my head before I say it and try and avoid, when you start thinking out loud and saying stuff like or like literally like itself, when you don't know what to say, if you try and consciously try and cut that out, you can just make, it's going to sound awkward at first, but you're going to make your speech more how do I just said it myself.
Direct.
Yeah, more direct. That's the word. That's the word. More direct. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was something that came up in conversation the other day. It was about trying how well does how well does school prepare you for being a confident speaker? And I was thinking about it, and I don't think school generally does prepare you well for it, because, for example, I'm going to be doing an assembly in the next coming days, and every time that I've mentioned, oh, I'm going to be doing an assembly, somebody says, oh, good luck. And I'm like, I it shouldn't be a good luck. It should be a just do it, because you should be able to feel confident, especially in a school environment where, when we're in year 13, we are essentially at the top of the totem pole, if you will. You should be able to you should be able to speak more confidently in front of groups of people. But just even thinking about it, my heart starts racing, and I'm thinking about, wow, like I will be in front of a lot of people speaking, and that's when your voice starts to tremor and whatever. But with anything that's practiced, the more frequently you do it, the more easy it becomes to do it with to do it with ease.
Yeah, I feel it's it's a skill that I feel like many people should try and like or add to their arsenal, if you will, because knowing how to speak and articulate yourself to convey ideas can allow you to attain so many benefits in life. Let's say, for example, you want to get a higher wage or get a raise, for example. You would have to know how to speak to your manager in a way that will allow him to understand that you want to improve your wage. If you're not able to speak coherently and you're trembling because you're speaking to someone that's ahead of you, or you're speaking to someone that you deem as important, then the chance of you being successful in getting the raise is going to be low. But again, as Femi said, in order to actually get better at that skill, you have to practice. And I think that's something people shy away from, because once you're like a novice in something, it's very discouraging, because people don't like to be bad at particular tasks, so they won't even begin. But I think we spoke about it after getting through, like I think Sam spoke about it, after getting through the initial like periods where you're not you're not amazing at what you're trying to do, then you'll start to seek success in like a compound effect, which I feel which is something that people miss out on because they don't even begin. After some technical difficulties, I can't speak, man. That's poor for me. Technical difficulties. Site is back. O2 shagged his internet, but now you're back. Let's carry on what we're talking about. What was it? We're gonna move on to body positivity now. I think we briefly mentioned it in the last video, but we're gonna talk about it more now. What's your opinion on body positivity? What's your first thoughts when that word arises? What enters your mind when you hear that word? Those words, actually, 2 words.
Right. So for me, like personally, when I think of body positivity, it's more about being comfortable in your own skin. I think for what I personally think body positivity is meant to be is, for example, I'll give you an example. So me, I work out. Temi works out. He's been doing it for a long amount of time. He's a pro. He knows his stuff. I want to get a smaller waist as well, right? You know, just for an aesthetic, I want to get a smaller waist, but I can get as shredded as I want. But just genetically, my hip bones are just in a wider place than Temi's. You know, for example. So I can get to 5%, 4% body fat, and my waist will not be as thin as Temi's or Femi's, you know, and I'm happy with that. You know, I don't.
Oh, long day.
I don't mind that because I'm all right with the way.
Okay, carry on.
Quick.
I still want to be working out, you know. Yeah, but I also think it's meant to be for people who are like amputees or disabled, skin conditions, you know, whatnot, actual eating disorders. I think that people should still remain positive about who they are as a person. They should be at peace with the way their body is, and I think that's what I think body positivity is at its heart: being happy with, being content with the person that you are, and also the person that the better version of you that could be as well.
Yeah, I think body positivity should be about being satisfied with your physical limitations. But unfortunately, you asked Temi, what comes to mind when those 2 words are said? For me, this might just be what I consume on media, but when I hear the words body positivity, I think immediately of people promoting obesity, because unfortunately, I believe it has turned into that to an extent. And yeah, I don't want to get too on the cusp of disrespect here, but I do think that there has to be a line drawn on what is body positivity. But I think Sai defined it very well.
I can agree with that. Like Sai's definition, I said like again, but Sai's definition was very had everything I was gonna say in it, especially with the part about just being comfortable in your own skin, because that's what the end goal is. Because it doesn't matter if you're ripped, doesn't matter if you're fat. If you aren't comfortable in your own skin, then living in that body, it's not gonna be nice for you. It's gonna pain you to be living in something you're not comfortable in. And I feel like that's the goal out of this whole movement. But again, as Femi said, it's taken a turn. I don't think it's as extreme as maybe some people are making it out to be, but maybe the people that are making it less about the amputees and being more comfortable in your own skin are the loudest. So the perception could be that that's what the whole movement is about. But if you dig deeper, you can understand that most of body positivity is still in a forwards moving and a productive direction. And I think that's the main goal of fitness. And it kind of pains me to see that when people talk about working out, for example, to improve the way you look, and like demonizing it by calling it fat phobic, as we talked about in the last video. It's people are gonna see that and they're gonna think, okay, like impressionable people, because I feel like if you have, that's gonna be kind of rude. If you have some sort of sense or have an idea of, or you have worked out previously, or you know that actually working out is not a bad thing or doesn't make you fat phobic, but people that are impressionable and see that will now stray and not actually try and improve their body because they don't want to be deemed as something bad from, or something bad from society's point of view, which is a shame, but it is what it is.
I feel like a lot of people, there's a misconception. It's sort of a misconception because I know, and I say sort of a misconception because I know some people that don't do it and some people that kind of do it from it. But people say that a lot of people go to the gym to look better in the eyes of other people, and I feel it's a really old sort of statement, and it's pretty it is an umbrella statement because I know that a lot of people don't do it because of that. But I feel that that idea of people going to the gym to look better for other people was something that this new body positivity movement does kind of look into. That, and I that's one aspect of it I do agree with. That I don't think that you should be going so that you can look better for other people. I think that you should be going to the gym, working out, exercising, so that you look better for yourself. Because for definitely a lot of my life, I wasn't happy with the way I looked, and then I had right to be so because I wasn't the most physically able, whether that be through strength or endurance or just pure aesthetic. I wasn't happy with the way I looked, and the reason I did start working out and hitting the weights was because I personally wanted to feel more confident. And that's not to say I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. Like, it's not that I didn't want to be there. I just felt that I wanted to live a better life, knowing that I was improving the way I looked and gaining confidence through it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a really good one in that a lot of people do have success stories like yourself, Si, where they've gone to the gym to improve a physical aspect of themselves, like visually, and it has paid off. But we can't ignore those people who have bigorexia, as it's dubbed, who go to the gym endlessly and they feel as though they're not making any progress despite being the biggest person in the gym. And I feel like that is a slight problem with going to the gym to look good, because I think you get to a point where how you look is very relative to where you are in your life or in your gym career. So, for example, myself, I didn't have the problem because I didn't go to the gym to look good. I went to the gym to build muscle, regardless of how it looked. So, I call me cocky, but I always thought I looked good.
It might be nice.
I,
It might be nice.
like, even when I was tiny, like even when my arms were like spaghetti, like year 6, I'll be flexing my muscles in the mirror. I'm like, damn, boy. Then, upon
Nice.
reflection, I see videos of myself from when I was younger, and I was far from it. My body was not what I thought it looked like. But I guess that's a form of body dysmorphia in itself. I don't want to throw words around here, but in that I thought I looked absolutely massive. I thought I was a unit. Really, I was this frail, young African man.
Sounds like a water advert, man.
No, honestly, I look like that.
£1 a month.
£1 a month.
Nah, that's the thing,
bro,
though.
honestly, I
Yeah,
was a very skinny man, but
you finished.
I I went to the gym to improve my my muscular strength, and in doing that, my body has become much better, and I'm confident in my body now, but in a different way to I was before. Before it was me thinking I looked big, but now it's me being proud of the fact that I have gone to the gym to improve my strength, and as a as a benefit of that, an indirect benefit, I think I look better and I'm proud of that. So what were you saying, Timmy?
I was going to talk about the whole body dysmorphia thing because maybe I don't know. I don't want to compare struggles, but I don't feel like enough light is shed on the other end of the spectrum. So let's say, as Femi said, you've been going to the gym for an excessive period of time, not excessive, but like a long period of time, and then you still feel like you're small. And that's where I feel like the topic of mental health comes in, because if your mental health is not right, no matter what you look like, no matter how much muscle you have, no matter how much money you have, you'll still feel like subpar. So fixing your mental health is essential for like anything. It should be like the first thing that you're even taught in schools, because if your mental health is not good, you wouldn't want to revise, you wouldn't do well in school, which is what school wants you to do. So I'm surprised they're trying to push it more now. I'm trying to see that they're making, again, like next week, there's this year week, we have a well-being day. So, and that wasn't here 5 years ago, I think. So I think they're pushing mental health more because it's fundamental to everything you want to do. Because as I said, if your mental health's not good, you won't have the motivation, you won't have like the mental thought patterns to actually push you to doing something that's productive. But yeah, what's your opinions on like the importance of mental health, especially now?
Well, I feel that it's definitely, I would never say it's lost importance, but I felt like the importance of it's more emphasized in recent years. I don't really know the exact cause of it, but it's definitely something for the better, because I feel that a lot of people nowadays, especially, do need that sense of mental health, and although it sounds cliche, that inner peace, because especially for teenagers nowadays, because it's like stuff is hectic. Just to say the least, it's hectic, with everything going on, school, world, home, whatever. I'm not saying I'm not downplaying any struggles or anything, but it's just it's a hard time in your life, no matter where you are, to go through a mental health struggle and not have some sort of output to it. And I'll tell you, on topic of working out, I feel that finding working out regularly is a good output to have something to hold up my mental health. It's if just me personally, if I'm benching or
Long day, long day.
Oh, it's
or
gone
whatever,
again,
just
man.
that one being at peace. Oh my days! I swear to God, where was I? Where was I? Where did it cut out? Where
You
did I
said
cut out?
it was when
Benching.
you said benching.
Yeah. Apologies for this, guys. I'm not gonna lie. This is choppy, 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 choppy. Anyways, yeah. When I'm in my garage benching, for an hour or whatever, that I'm maybe I have a podcast playing in the background while I'm doing it, but during the rest times, but especially just when I'm benching, I don't listen to music or anything. I just sit underneath the bench and just bench. It's just me and the weights, and sense of forced silence in a sort of way where I'm not really thinking about anything else rather than pressing this weight off my chest, because otherwise, if I don't, it will drop and crush my sternum. It's a bit sadistic, but I don't know. That feeling for me is kind of liberating. It's kind of why I still like to do it.
Yeah. On
Yeah,
the
I
topic
think
of
silence is really important, and I've experienced it a bit more recently. Like I said last episode, I don't wear my earphones on my 40-minute walk to school, and when I tell people I've walked 40 minutes, they're like, "Wow, 40 minutes! 40 minutes is not a long walk." But in that 40 minutes where you are, it is just silence and essentially me talking to myself. I do get to explore so many thought pathways, and it's interesting. And when you have that silence, when you're doing an activity such as lifting weights, I think it can just improve your focus to a certain degree. Like Sai said, you can channel all of your energy to pressing that weight. And I think in our society, it's quite unusual for someone to not be wearing earphones when they're doing such a mundane activity, but I think it should be done a lot more.
On the topic of that, I feel that's I've been doing some research. I think that could be called like a flow state when everything else is completely disregarded and your complete focus is on the task. And I think that's the most productive like a human can be when they're only focused on one specific activity. And I've been deep in it as well. Like the last, like I was thinking about it. We're always stimulated by something. You always have music playing. You're always watching something. You always listening to something, and like having the time just to like stare at a wall and just think about yourself or what about your thoughts is essential, even to improving mental health, as we've been talking about, and even meditation as well, which is something I recommend a lot. I've been doing it for like a year and a half now. Started lockdown. Meditation for me is essential. Basically, it's part of my morning routine. I made a video on that ages ago, but it's part of my morning routine, and it helps me stay grounded, and it gives me this sense of presence, especially when I'm speaking to people or doing my daily activities. Like I can engage more in a conversation. I can do better with work and school because I'm not clouded by thoughts about doing this. What am I having for dinner? What did I forgot to turn off the heater in the morning or something? Forget to take the meat out of the my mind is just on what I'm trying to do. And it's essential. If you're struggling with mental health, obviously go see someone to speak about it. But if you can't do that at the moment, just incorporating 5 to 10 minutes of meditation a day literally helped transform my mental health. And then the app I use is called Medito. It's free. It's on the App Store. It just guides you through meditations if you're a beginner. But yeah, I recommend meditation to anyone, even if you're not struggling with mental health. It just helps with presence and clarity. So I'd recommend you to download the app, and it's not sponsored or anything, don't worry. I recommend you to download the app and just use it. And if you don't like it, delete it. But trust me, 1 to 2 weeks of consistent meditation, you'll see changes.
Yeah, and it's one like interesting point you bring up about that presence and how so many of us are just and I've been doing this sometimes as well, but we're always privy to content wherever we are, and it's I think it kind of, for me, it kind of started in the lockdown, like the first one back in 2020, where I'll be doing like a task and I just have music or a podcast or something playing in the background, and not having it playing would be weird. And slowly, like, for some certain tasks, such as if I'm revising, I'd make sure I don't have music on or anything. Or if I'm doing reading, won't have music on. Or I'm doing something that requires more of a presence. Turning off that background noise, whatever it is, turning off that background noise actually does help that presence, and having a sense of quietness as well. Even if like I don't meditate as much, but I do like to have a sense of quietness in my day-to-day life. Even if that's just for 20 minutes a day or something when I'm playing music, like actually physically playing the music, drums or violin. Having that sense of silence does quieten out a lot of the ruckus that goes on in your head. And I don't know, it's just important to me to just have moments to yourself and in like moments in your thoughts during the day.
Yeah, we kind of do this in psychology. Having background noise can really interfere with your articulatory control process. Essentially, that's a fancy term for saying your inner voice, or the words that you're saying and the words that are entering you. Okay.
That's on the bleeper reel.
But no, seriously, it can have a serious effect, because especially when you're listening to the music, the words, you may not think you're listening to the music, but you are unconsciously listening to the music, and that the words are entering your brain. And if you're writing an essay, for example, whilst doing that, or you're trying to remember for example, for my biology revision, I'd need to remember a mark scheme for it, a 9-mark question or something. When I'm doing that and I have two sets of words that I'm trying to manage, so I have the words that I'm listening to through my music or podcast, as you say, and the words that I'm trying to write down, it does cloud you. And there are studies that say it doesn't necessarily decrease your accuracy, but it does decrease your efficiency. It takes you longer to do something when your articulatory control loop is clouded with too much information. So when you do just have silence, when you're listening to silence, it does help just to zone in fully on what you're doing. Personally, when we have revision lessons in class and it gets a bit noisy because people aren't revising, they're just talking, I bang in my AirPod Pros, turn the noise cancellation on, and thankfully Apple have this function where you can just play white noise in the background. So to have options for white noise, dark noise, rain, stuff like that. And it does help me to focus completely, because it's like having that static in your brain just completely eliminates anything that could be affecting what you're trying to focus on, especially if it's with words.
That's something I really need to improve on, because I'm trying to go on like a whole just taking out as much technology from like my day-to-day as possible, because I know technology can improve your life in a sense, but if with most things, if you use it in excess, and for technology it is quite easy to use in excess, it can have detrimental impacts on just your like state of being. So yeah, I'm gonna try and like listen to music less, not listen, because I use Femi's tactic as well. I just listen to like rain noises. I go on like YouTube and just search up like rain noises, and then I listen to that when I'm working, and it helps. But I need to do that more. I want to see like the impact, because the way I'm going as well now, I'm using less technology, and I feel like my just state of well-being is improving. I sound like I'm literally repeating what my parents used to say. Oh, don't go on your phone too much. It will ruin you. But now I'm listening to them. I won't tell them though, because of my ego, obviously. But they're all these things that they're telling you, like don't use your phone so much. Don't stay on the Xbox for too long. It does have some sense of like accuracy to it. And now, like growing up a little bit more, I'm still young. I'm still learning that what they're saying actually holds some weight, and I'm gonna implement these things. It's going to be difficult, especially because I think I mentioned this before. Everything is like optimized to capture you and have your attention for as long as possible. It's very difficult. Even the most productive people slip up and spend hours on their phone. But being conscious of it as well. One thing that helps me as well is having my screen time on my front screen, on my like one of the widgets. So anytime I'm on my phone for too long, I see my screen time increasing. It makes me feel a little bit guilty, and that helps a little bit. Just little things like that can help. But as I said, I'm just trying to decrease my use of my phone technology and stuff, because it helps. It helps, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it is really important to be conscious of what you're doing a lot of the time. So, as you say, scrolling through your phone, you have to gain control over your life and not let that be something that you do involuntarily. So like I said last episode, I'll click off Instagram and click right back on it again. I don't do that voluntarily. It's just a reflex essentially. And when you do, I think meditating will help with it. Like I haven't been meditating recently, but I don't know. I think when you do make an effort to be more conscious of the decisions you make, and I think there's a statistic, it's like you make 15,000 or something decisions a day. And when you hone in and concentrate on each and every one of those decisions, or as many of those decisions as you can, you gain a control of your life, in that you can choose what pathway that you want to go down. And I think that will be beneficial in any case.
That's interesting, because let's say you make one more
Yeah,
decision.
and you said about Bro,
Wait,
I'm sorry. I'm
sorry,
sorry.
sorry,
I'm
you
sorry.
carry.
I'm
You
sorry.
carry.
No, no, it was my
It's all
this
right.
thing
Your
is
ping's like
glitching again.
5,000. It's all right. We'll allow you.
It's just so.
Carry.
Oh, bro, this is. I can't. I don't want to name my broadband service because they're gonna sue me for this how bad this is right now. But what's it? That thing you said about um not letting it control, your life is if another way someone wants to see it if they don't not necessarily believe it, but they don't think it's that detrimental a problem. And it's played a role in my life as well, and I'm trying to think cutting it out. But those few couple minutes every day that you glance onto your phone, they rack up a lot when you get to the end of the day. Those couple minutes, like if you're in the hallway or just sitting down, couple minutes here and there, a couple minutes, like several minutes an hour, when you're bored and you just go onto your phone from the morning to evening, they rack up a lot of time. And I've been checking my screen time, and a lot of it is whenever I have those moments, I'll go onto like Instagram or Snapchat or YouTube, and it gets up to like adds up. I think one day added up to like an hour or something on my phone. And that's me just going onto like social media apps and just scrolling through them for just a few minutes at a time throughout the day. And I think a way of looking at it is when you cut out those small changes and replace them for something much more effective, you start to notice how much of a difference that has. Like, for example, if that day when it added up to 1 hour of entertainment screen time on a school day as well, if I'd swap that out for every few minutes go on to Quizlet or something, I could have racked up like an hour of revision on various subjects. And I don't know, that's kind of a way of that I definitely am going to go forward and try to implement in my day whenever I go into my phone.
Mm. One thing I found that helps, I think I've been doing this like, I think pretty consistently for like a year now, is deleting like social media like the night before. So let's say, so what I
That
do,
light counter is racking up, boy.
Yeah.
um, so lost my train of thought. So okay, I delete my social media the night before. So that's why you always see me like post at ridiculous times. I always post at like 9, 10 p.m. because I download it after all my work's done during the day. So I don't have that time during the day when I'm picking up my phone, because I pick up my phone, try and look on Snapchat, but it's not there. Then I put my phone back down. So that helps with my screen time. But one thing I found though, when I do like download it back, I go on like a kind of binge, because I get it back and I'm like, oh, what have I missed? What have I missed? I start scrolling through. But I think I've looked at it overall. I'm saving more time, and during the day I have more presence, because obviously using your phone distracts you a lot. I think I said this in other podcasts as well. Once you're distracted, it takes 20, I think it's 20 minutes to return back to your original level of focus. And another stat was like the average uni student is distracted. Uh I think it's like 60 something times an hour. So if you think about it, like most of the time you're not at your peak performance. So trying to be distracted less, trying to optimize like my whole well-being by not having social media on my phone, trying to make it easier for me is it's essential. I feel like it helped me. It's helping me. It's helping me. So I'd recommend it.
Yeah, what I think doesn't help though is that Snapchat and Instagram are so mainstream that if you don't have the apps, I don't want to get into the fear of missing out, because I think FOMO shouldn't be a thing. But if you don't have Snapchat or Instagram, you could be missing out on potentially important information. So it is unfortunate, because I do delete Snapchat and Instagram routinely, but I do also re-download them routinely, simply because if I don't check them, I could have important information coming my way that I that I don't have access to. So it doesn't help, because as soon as they are on my phone again, it's a case where if I see it, I will click on it involuntarily, as I said. Um, and yeah, it's a bad habit that I think should be eliminated. And I think most people should make a move to something like just iMessages, simple messaging apps, or WhatsApp, where you're not scrolling through tons of stories or images of people doing a variety of things, because it does just it overloads your brain with so much information. It's not healthy. So I do think I want to use those apps a lot less, but like I said, it is difficult to in our society where they are quite central.
That's the thing you spoke about, comparing yourself. I feel like a quote that assists this very well is comparison is the thief of joy. And I think in every scenario where you compare yourself to someone, you don't know their circumstances, you don't know what they've been taking in the sense of if you're comparing yourself to comparing your physique to another physique, or their whole circumstances to get successful. So again, comparison is the thief of joy. It's very difficult, especially with our society, because now you can see the most successful people from all over the world. Previously, it was just like your neighborhood, like the guy that had the best car in your neighborhood. Now it's literally the planet, which makes this whole comparison exponentially worse. So understanding that by using social media, but by following certain people, you will be comparing yourself. And to actually overcome this, just unfollow people you feel like you're comparing yourself to. But again, you can use that comparison in a better light. Because like, let's say sometimes I see like someone pulling like a 350 kg deadlift. I'm like, I'm going to the gym now to improve my strength. If you can, I know it's difficult, but some people might not be able to see it. Some things you can't change, obviously, but I kind of look at stuff like that as motivation rather than like looking down on myself because I'm not achieving that.
Yeah, and there's we brought him up last time, but the good old Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. What's it? Where's the copy twin?
Now I'm trying to find it. Just carry on, carry
on. Rule number 4. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. And that's, I wouldn't say it's overlooked. I feel like a lot of people know that, but it's still equally as important, because you shouldn't, like like Temi says, comparison is the thief of joy. It's, I don't know, you feel more satisfied knowing that you're a better version of yourself, even though it may not seem like it at first. Even though the person that you're going to compare yourself to is like, if you put them on a pedestal and you say, oh, I'm never going to reach this, or this is too far-fetched for me to get, or I'm going to reach them but it's going to take too long, stuff that just demoralizes you in a way. I feel that comparing yourself to yourself, and you're like comparing yourself to who you were yesterday, is a more, not just realistic, but something more satisfactory in a good way as well. Like if today you woke up when you said you were going to wake up and you didn't press the snooze alarm, that's an improvement, even though it's small. And yeah.
Yeah, I think comparison can be detrimental and demoralizing, but for me personally, in a lot of cases, I just use it as motivation for me. So you can compare yourself to other people, and I do so in all facets of my life. I compare myself as being more proficient than other people in certain aspects, and I compare myself as being less proficient than other people in certain aspects. And I think it does create motivation when you do see the performance gap between yourself and another person. So I'll use an example. I'm a pole vaulter, and there is a pole vaulter in my year. He was born in 2004, early in 2004, January. So we are in the same age group, and we will be in the same age group for this season and next season as well. He's jumping 5 meters and 10 centimeters. I'm jumping. Well, I've jumped 431. And I haven't jumped that in a while now. So using him, he's been to European Championships. He's been to the British National Championships. Last year, he won a bronze medal at the British Championships, like for overall. When you do compare yourself to people like that, at least for me, I do see it as motivation because it means it's not impossible for me to get at least somewhere up there. Unfortunately, there are some dispositional factors that I can't change. So he's much taller than me. He's like 6'1", 6'2". He's probably heaps stronger than me. He's faster than me. But it does make me think that I can get somewhere between current myself and him, in that I can get to maybe not up to where he's at 5 meters and 10 centimeters, but I could get to 470, 475, 480, and I'll be happy with that because I've bridged the gap to an extent. And I think comparing yourself to who you were yesterday is good because you can see the progress that you've made. But if you don't compare to a real life person, another alternative is comparing to this perfect entity that you would like yourself to be. So you'd like to be, like, for me, that perfect entity would be a tall, handsome black man, but unfortunately I'm missing out on the tall department. So, things like that, you would love to be a 45 pointer, or you'd love to be the fastest runner in the world. Things like that, like, you will never get to those points. So I think choosing a real example, a real entity, a real human does kind of make it more attainable in a way.
That's true. And again, that comes back to the idea of like your mental health, because the reason you're comparing yourself in a good way to this pole vault is because you'll have, like, it sounds cliche, but you have like a kind of progressive mindset. You don't have a fixed mindset. So you understand that if you put in the work, you've seen it like in live in the flesh, it's been done. So now you can actually put in the work and actually go towards that. So having the mindset shift from like, oh, it's they just got lucky, oh, I could never be like that. Obviously there's some limiting factors, but those account for much less than what people are like talking about, because obviously I feel like complaining and saying that you can't, rejecting yourself, if you will, before you even undertake trying to improve, is much easier than actually putting yourself through the suffering and actually trying to improve. So again, fundamental, try and develop that like progressive mindset instead of that fixed mindset of just thinking you'll stay in the same position. Because if you have that progressive mindset, as I keep saying, things like on social media won't really affect you that much and actually can aid in your development, which is what I feel like we all want in the long run.
Yeah, and there's this. I know. There's a we spoke about spirituality last week, and spoke about holy texts and stuff, and how they're gems of wisdom. On the topic of comparison and mental health, I spoke about it last week in the Gita, which is the Indian holy text. There's within the book, the person who narrates it themselves, they talk about how God is within the I can't remember the exact quote, but I think it's something along like he's in the power of the powerful, and the intelligent, like the intelligence of the intelligent people, and it's about seeing divinity in everywhere, and how if you're in a field of, whether that be sport, art, or academics, and you see someone who is more proficient at it than you, rather than feel disheartened by it, you can try see sort of that spark in them that makes them that much better than you, and just appreciate it. You don't have to compare yourself to it. You don't say as if there's a better musician. If there's a better musician than me, I wouldn't at least I try not to be like, oh, I can't be like this, or why they're so good. That's just, and feel bitter. I don't know if that's the right word, but feel not bad about it, but rather just appreciate how good they are at that certain field, and just find some joy in that.
Yeah, I think you can take it as an opportunity to learn. So, for example, what are they doing that I'm not doing and that I can do so that I can become better? Just things like that.
Yeah, that's like the main foundation of it all. Just picking out, like, it sounds bad, but just copying successful people is probably the quickest way to be successful. Not copying what they've put in place, because certain mechanisms and certain things that they do are successful, maybe for them, but most of the time, if you implement them themselves, that's why things on YouTube like, oh, a millionaire's morning routine or what this athlete eats go viral, because people understand that copying, in a sense, what successful people do will actually aid you in success. And it's not like, I feel like the word copying has like negative connotations because you feel like, oh, you're stealing what they're doing, but you're not stealing what they're doing. You're adding it to your own arsenal of skills and things that you implement. So in a sense, you're creating this person, or this person that can do many things, and by adding successful components, so things that you deem as successful or things that have been proven as successful to that arsenal, just will make you a more competent person.
Yeah, I think I've heard a piece of advice. It's like surround surround yourself by the people you'd like to be like. So if you're let me think of an example. Let's say you're just a mid performer in a class. You get in the context of the IB, you get a mixture of fives and sixes in your class tests. Stay after school and revise with the people that are getting sevens. See what they're doing, and compile, as you say, like uh, obtain characteristics. Like yeah, get characteristics from them, and compile that together and add it to your own personal arsenal, so that you can kind of like I say, take control of yourself, and you can gain power in that you can shape yourself into who you want to be better by taking notes from what other people are doing.
Especially with that, I feel like it requires you to like get rid of your ego, in a sense that you still have to be like a novice to everything. Like, even if you deem yourself as successful in something, you there's always a lot that you can improve. And having that kind of like student mindset when it comes to that is like, it's like essential. It's literally essential, because if not, if you're not continuously improving, you'll remain stagnant. And I felt, and the like whole being stagnant is not a fun place to be, because it's not, progression is nice. Like, knowing that you're working at improving something is rewarding, makes you feel good as a person. And being like in the same position as you were like a couple of months ago is not, it's not gratifying.
Like on Thursday, it was World Book Day, wasn't it? And I came home and to see my 6-year-old sister, and she was wearing a costume. I said, "Why are you wearing a costume?" She said, "It's World Book Day." Then I asked her, "Did you bring any books into school?" And she said, "No, but only 2 people did." And the fact that my 6-year-old sister has that mindset from so young, I told her, next year you're going to bring a book, right? And she agreed, and she's probably not going to bring a book into school next year. But I do want to eliminate that kind of mindset that, oh, because other people aren't doing it, it's okay that I don't do it. Because when you get into that habit of that kind of sheep mindset, or not even a sheep mindset, but like validating unproductivity just because other people are being unproductive, that I think it's poor, and it it's detrimental to growth, I think. So just things like if you sit down at home and say, oh, it's like, okay, no, for example, when you come to school and you say, oh man, I haven't revised for a test, and then everyone else says, oh, I haven't revised either. Why does that make you feel good? Why is the fact that everyone else hasn't revised for the test as well as you? Why is that comforting? It shouldn't be. It should be. You shouldn't be satisfied when all of you aren't doing what you should be doing to be successful. And I say this, they say practice as you preach. Practice what you preach. I'm guilty of it too, but ultimately, just because someone else is doing something or someone else isn't doing something, it doesn't make it okay for you not to do it. So I don't know. I think it is important that you acknowledge as a person where you should be improving, regardless of your surroundings.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to take up that responsibility. Let's say no one's doing something and you are interested in doing something, like being the person to do it first is sometimes what you have to do, because you can't always base your decisions around what other people are doing. And it will be very scary because you don't understand that no one else has done it. You're stepping into a field of chaos, as Jordan Peterson loves to say, you're entering chaos. But again, entering chaos is gratifying in the sense that now you understand yourself. Let's say you do feel at doing something, you understand yourself better now than the person that was too scared to even undergo stepping into chaos, as I've said. And being like a trendsetter has its own benefits. People always like try and mock it and try and like say it's a meme and stuff, but that has its own benefits, as now you're not a sheep, as Femi said. You actually have autonomy over your life. Like, you can actually do the things you want to do, which I feel like is free. And a lot of people don't really have that in this day and age. Like, I think because we're still kind of young, most of our lives have been like not ruled, but we've been guided in a direction because of our parents. But as we get older, we have that kind of freedom as well. But then instead of our parents, it's going to be like friends that kind of subconsciously not belittle what you're trying to do, but don't have the same enthusiasm as you would, which does make sense. Like, you have this certain goal you want to achieve. You can't expect your friend that has no detail of this goal, has a completely different headspace to you, to have the same enthusiasm. So yeah, just being conscious of who you're taking information from and who's actually ruining your life will actually just improve it. Like, being conscious of certain things improves the problem by like 20-30%. So like, being conscious that you're using your phone too much, you will consciously now, like, the thought will come into your head, you'll spend 10 less minutes on your phone as the days progress. Just being conscious of the problems or like things you want to improve already helps or aids to improving the problem. I'd say I've gone on a rant about, I can't even remember what I first talked about, but I hope some knowledge was in that whole spiel of what I said. Well, yeah.
So, you want to say anything? I feel like it's been a bit of a back and forth between me and Temi.
No, I've just been agreeing with everything you're saying, man. Can't lie, just spitting wisdom out here.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, like, as you say, like, not following the crowd. I have what I think the TikTokers would dub a core memory when I was probably like between the ages of like 6 and 10 in my primary school, and it was some sort of game show or something that they were doing as an event. And one of the tasks was that they would ask like general knowledge questions, and they projected on the floor like answer A, B, or C, right? This is me just being this, let's say, an 8-year-old just messing about. I'm with my boy Justin, who was my best friend in primary school. The rest of the people are like year sixes who are about to leave, and we're just having fun, standing on random letters, standing on the letters that everyone else is standing on. But one of the questions, just because I felt like it, everyone stood on B, I stood on A. I got the question right, and like I didn't even know what it was about, but it was like just because I felt like being different, I ended up I ended up winning for somebody's team. I remember like there was this year six who I'd talked to here and there, and the game show host, he was one of the fathers of the children at school. He asked me, "Oh, what team are you on?" I wasn't even on the team, but I just said, "Oh, I'm on this girl's team," just because I knew her, and I'll be real, I thought she was a little bit lame in it. So yeah, like I just said I was on their team, and we all got like we won shirts just because I stood on a random letter because I felt like it, and things like that is it's really just don't follow the crowd, man. Use your own brain. Even if you're just shooting in the dark, use your own brain.
Shooting in the dark is still a shot, though. Right?
Yeah,
It's better than not taking a shot. But that's true. Like taking risks is like don't like gamble your life savings on some crypto or something. But like taking risks is you can't grow without taking risks. Like comfort is the killer of man, as people like to say. So try and make yourself uncomfortable. You don't have to like, I'm not saying just sign up for, don't go join the army or something, but try and make yourself uncomfortable in your day to day. So let's say, for example, I need to get back on this, but I used to do cold showers for like a year straight. Like it's not needed, and there's not even there could be scientific benefit to it, but making myself uncomfortable in the morning already like sets me up for the rest of the day. And even exercise in the morning already sets me up in the frame of mind that like, okay, I'm gonna do what I need to do, even though I don't feel like it. I'm gonna try and get back on the cold showers, especially now that it's getting a little bit warmer and I need that focus, intense focus again. But doing something uncomfortable every day leads to over time you leaving your comfort zone, like progressing out of it and actually developing. Because again, without doing things you find like difficult in a sense, you won't progress. You'll be stagnant. And again, being stagnant isn't fun.
Yeah, I know it's a bit nitpicky with all of that, but I just wanted to like small brief topic. You mentioned cold showers, and I thought it was an interesting topic because I wouldn't say they're controversial, but there's a lot of mixed opinions on it. Femi, have you ever tried a extended period of cold showers by any chance? Or
never an extended period. I've probably done it once or twice. I did one a couple summers ago when I'd have an athletics competition or training and it was tiring. I'd take a cold bath afterwards, but I've never really, for an extended period of time, done cold showers.
no, because I think I've spoken to like Temi about it before. It's I don't know, a lot of one benefit of cold showers is psychological. Like Temi mentioned about making yourself feel uncomfortable. I think that's a big benefit of it. I don't know. It's not a tangible thing to hold on to, but that feeling of making yourself feel uncomfortable with one thing a day you're doing is so it makes you more grounded, if you know what I mean. Like I wake up and it's something that builds a bit of discipline in you, and that thing making yourself feel uncomfortable doesn't have to be something physical. It can be something psychological as well. Like, for example, not using your phone before you go to bed. And that's one of the things that, we talked about cutting something out, for Len. That's one of the things I've tried to cut out, trying to make myself not use that cheap dopamine release of using my phone before I go to bed. Something we talked about last week, or, just making hard decisions that you're meant to make in the day is one way of making yourself feel, so-called uncomfortable. And I feel like stuff like that does help build discipline in your life. Even if you don't notice it immediately, I think it still does really help build discipline, which I think a lot of people, including myself, do need.
The thing with those kind of things as well is that it's very difficult at the beginning, but then as you form a routine, like it becomes habit now, and like it becomes subconscious. So like the same thought about like, oh, I have to take a cold shower today, just becomes habit, and it becomes easier over time. That's why like some people have asked me, okay, how have you stayed so consistent with going to the gym for like years now? Like most of the time, I don't even need to think about it. Like my bag is packed, I just walk in the direction of the gym because it's subconscious to me now. And again, getting past the initial like uncomfortable position of it being, oh, like a chore, or you have to consciously do certain things. When it becomes habit, momentum kicks in. So like it's a progress now. It's like a it's automated now, if that makes sense. You don't have to put so much emotion and emphasis on doing something. Like when things become a habit, that's why I think I've talked about this previously, but habits like define who you are. So like if you've got positive habits that are conducive to growth, then you will be successful in the long run. If you've got habits that are detrimental, you'll be going down. So like let's say habits of spending too much time on your phone, not delaying gratification, like having your discipline like being weak from just hyperstimulation and stuff, you'll be going downwards. But the thing is that like to be kind of positive, it seems that everyone is kind of has this phone addiction that we always speak about so much. So maybe just like cutting your screen time by an hour a day, you're already like ahead of 10% of people. That's just an arbitrary number of put out there, but let's say you're ahead of 10% of people. And that I don't like saying it, but that feeling of being a little bit better than someone is still rewarding, even in the sense that we want to cut out our ego as much as possible, still be a student. But we can't eliminate the fact that as humans, we enjoy being better than other people in like different categories. So just doing these little things, these little habits, and again trying to build consistency using these habits by just doing them consistently and making them subconscious will make you like just even a little bit better than the average person in the long run. And obviously, you're not trying to compare yourself to everyone else, but again, you could be if you say you want to reach this like 1% of people doing their habits will make you be there, but doing these things will help you improve incrementally, which I feel like is the best. Like that's why, for instance, diets, these 30-day diets will get you shredded in 2 weeks. Do this workout, you get abs in 10 minutes. That's why these get a lot of views because people, and they don't even work because people love the easy way out or the quick, something you can get quickly. These don't work. And I feel like to build it consistently, like you see these things where people lose like 20 kg, but then they gain it back in the next month. It's because they haven't built like the discipline up over those consistent months of like not eating that junk food, not drinking that sugary drink. So again, it comes down to like the whole mental health, if you will, like having, I think discipline comes like into mental health as well, because you're consciously thinking about how you should do something. So having that at least adequate, it doesn't need to be perfect because obviously we're humans, we slip up. Having that baseline discipline built up by again doing these habits and meditating and doing all that stuff is essential for growth.
I think it's an important point you brought up about discipline. I thought, how to like connect what we kind of said is, I think habit and discipline are kind of interchangeable with each other. That habit equals discipline, and discipline equals habit, the other way around. And if you want to look at it in a way, for example, waking up early in the morning, like for like a long period of like time, maybe like 6 months ish, I was waking up every day apart from the weekends when I wake up like 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I'd be waking up at 4:50ish in the morning to like 5. And when I was in the middle of it, it wasn't something I'd consciously think about. It was literally a habit. And it wasn't, like Timmy mentioned about going to the gym, it was something that I didn't think about doing at all once I started doing it. It wasn't something I'd have a conflict with. Oh, I have to wake up at 5. I have to wake up in the morning now. It was something that it was just natural to me, and I think people need to build that same. Admittedly, I've been slipping up. I can't lie. This last 2 months with school and stuff, I've been waking up at 6:30. But I feel like people that want to get into it, whether that be habit of revision or working out, doing something good in their day, reading or whatever, building that habit is equal to building that discipline. And I feel that discipline is a habit in itself as well, where it's not like a willpower that you can just, I'm gonna force myself to be willed today. I feel discipline is a consequence of habit, and the other way around as well, because once you start sitting down every day, or every day without being asked, you sit down every day and you say, I'm going to revise an hour, and then go home and then revise or work out, whatever. When you start doing that every day, that discipline becomes habit discipline, whichever way you want to view it. And making positive habits, like Temi said, second nature in your life really does help. How really helps make you that better person you strive to be. And because I don't think you should rely on willpower, to solve all your problems. You're sitting down, you've been lazy for the last, few months. So you're not going to one day wake up and say, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. I'm going to work out for an hour today. I'm going to do 4 hours of revision on top of schoolwork and homework. It's not going to work. So I think, habit is probably the key way in, good habits and bettering your life, like Temi said.
Yeah, I think the main reason people don't make habits is because that is the hardest part. It's starting the habit, or that's what takes the most willpower. But as soon as you do establish that baseline, so for example, as you said, waking up at 4:55 a.m., as soon as that becomes your norm, it acts as an anchor for you to build upon that, and then you can take up in steps. So for example, back in like year 8 summer, for no reason in particular, I decided I'd wake up at 7 a.m. every morning and go on a 1K run and do a 100-meter sprint afterwards. And just making that my norm, it just benefited me in so many ways. I can't remember how productive I was for the rest of those days, but I can imagine it was more so than the people who would just lie in until 1 p.m. because they had the freedom to. And it's not like halfway through the summer, it's not like I was dragging myself out of bed. It just became the norm, and I think your body kind of gravitates towards it the same way it would gravitate towards a bad habit after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, I think the concept you're talking about, I read a book like a year ago, Atomic Habits. It's called like habit stacking. So like having a core habit and then attaching like separate habits onto it. And this is usually done in the morning, for example. So let's say like you wake up, I think you usually go for like a run in the morning, or like you do your cold showers, and then you meditate, having those like 3 or 4 habits done really in the morning builds up that like kind of baseline, as Femi said, to the rest of the day. Because if you win your mornings, as people say, you win the day. And making the conscious effort to like not press the snooze alarm, wake up early, do what you need to do, cold showers, meditate, not use your phone. That's one thing as well. I've tried to like limit my phone usage in the morning, like not look at screens when I wake up, because that like throws me off. But trying to implement these things in the morning, especially, will help you the rest of the day. It doesn't have to, you don't go straight from like you sleep in and wake up at like 7:30 to waking up at like 4:30, going to the gym for 3 hours. You have to build it up like consistently. As I think Sai and Femi said, that it's difficult to like flip the switch like that. It takes time to build like those habits. Because let's say for example, you are overweight. You didn't get overweight like that overnight. It took time and incremental days of you gaining weight to actually be overweight in that sense. So again, getting rid of that bad habit is going to take the same amount of time, or even quicker, even if you like put certain things to make it like more efficient. So having that mindset of how long it took me to get to a certain bad position, is going to be like a similar time to get me back to an optimal position or an improved position. Having that, like, like it takes time, and like even I've been a victim of this as well. I'm trying to look at like the quick hacks to achieve or get certain things that are gonna improve me. But fundamentally, the longer it takes, fundamentally having like set the goal that's for an extended period of time, or setting something you want to improve at extended period of time is optimal.
I'm running dry, bro. As you said.
Man, speechless. I'm tired as well, man. Maybe we might need to do these a bit.
Bro, we have 1 hour 46 minutes. If you take away like 10 minutes of me glitching out, thank you, Virgin.
Look, that's like an hour and a half of solid content.
Yeah,
that's decent, to be fair. I might just upload this one straight and see how that goes, and then upload clips throughout the week.
Yeah,
I'll see how that one. I don't need to edit out that much. Maybe the beginning, but it's fine.
not all of the beginning. Not all of the beginning. Like,
yeah, I'll
just it's probably just me like bugging out like I'm a madman. But yeah, no, because I like we did last time when you cut it up into
episodes.
30 minute. Yeah, I thought that was good.
You think that's calm?
Like, I think that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think we can experiment for now. Like, if you upload this as just like one long episode and see how it does, because the episode 1, 2, and 3, I imagine episode 1 got like 200 views, then two got 100, 3's only dropped today, but like I'd imagine we can compare how much the views are combined and see how people are engaging with it, and we'll see people in school. We'll ask them what they think of like having one long an hour and a half episode compared to 3 half-an-hour episodes.
Yeah, and I think I'm probably going to include this as well. Which one do you prefer? Like, if you prefer if you would prefer a longer video, just comment down, and then we'll do that one for next week's video or podcast. But yeah, anyways, we probably should wrap this up. It's nearly 11 as well. I'm trying to wake up early tomorrow.
You could make a poll. Make a poll on some.
Okay, yeah. I can actually put a poll. So if you're watching up to now, if you're watching an hour and a half up to now, then I rate that. But I'm gonna put a poll up now.
God bless you.
I'll put it in the description below as well, if I can do that. And then just tell me which one you prefer. That'll be cool. Anyways, hope this conversation was interesting. It's kind of good because next week's like is it mental or well-being week or something? So this podcast kind of helps with that. Yeah. Again, practices. If you didn't listen or pick up all the things we spoke about, the improvements, especially like if like you're a younger person, you're a younger person watching this as well. Implement these things, write these down, watch this podcast a few times to pick up on everything. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the content. Pat on your Wi-Fi, and
I want to pat my Wi-Fi, but yeah.
Anything else to say before we close it off?
Nothing. Have a chill week. Watch the Batman if you haven't seen it already.
Yeah.
It's not no paid promo. We're not. I mean, Warner Bros. If you're watching, do hit us up though. Hit up Temzo right here.
Yeah, man. But anyways, we'll wrap it up now. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Comment below if you enjoy your opinions on the topics. I'll catch you, man, on the next episode or the next podcast. Take care.
In my ambition.